What's up, hungry people? Today, we're returning to Panem with another recipe from the Hunger Games books. I'm reading through Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes for the first time, and I haven't seen the movie yet either. Yes, I know I'm really behind. I am in a unique position to experience the book for the first time with no spoilers from the movies. I don't know how I pulled that off. Did they show the dish I'm about to make in the movie? I don't know. I have no idea. It might be playing in the background behind me, but I haven't watched it yet. I have 24 hours to finish the book so I can watch it before the rental expires. I am about halfway through the book now, but I literally had to stop reading when I got to the scene with Tigris's bread pudding. It's Tigris. I'm gonna keep saying Tigris, but it's Tigris. This is what happens when you only read the books and pronounce things in your head and then go into a video with way too much confidence. Yeah, it's Tigris. That's my bad. Sorry. Fuck! In the book, she saves some stale bread from one of Fabricia's parties and turns it into a sticky, custardy bread pudding that is drizzled in warm corn syrup, and it's one of Coriolanus's favorites. If you like food from books, movies, games, and more, be sure to subscribe for even more fictional feasts. And leave your suggestions in the comments below on what I should make next, or tell me your favorite Hunger Games character for the sake of engagement. As they say, snow lands on top. So let's get started. We know that Coriolanus takes Lucy Gray some of the bread pudding in one of his handkerchiefs, and finds out that bread pudding is also one of her favorite desserts as well. To make the bread pudding, we'll need to take a deep dive into the history of the capital and the region it's supposed to be located in. According to the author, Suzanne Collins, the capital is vaguely located somewhere in Colorado, somewhere near the Rocky Mountains. We know from Ballad that it's been 10 years since the first Hunger Games, but the capital is not the vibrant, rich city we see in the original trilogy. Instead, we see how the capital is still recovering from the war, and items of luxury are still hard to come by. If we compare this time in the capital to real-life Depression era in North America, we can start to consider what ingredients to use in this recipe to make it as accurate as possible. First, we must procure some of the most expensive ingredients known to man in 2025, eggs. I don't know the status of eggs in the capital, but in real life, I'm about to throw hands over the cost of eggs. Put me in the arena just for eggs, for real. Coriolanus is mentioned drinking warmed buttermilk many times, so we know that was available to Tigris already. During Depression times, shelf-stable sweeteners like corn syrup were used in place of sugar, which would have been very hard to come by. We know the Snows aren't particularly well off at this point in their history, but it's likely that corn syrup would have been available and easy to store for a long period of time. We'll make some assumptions, like Tigris also melting pats of butter she stole from the party, or obtaining hard-to-find ingredients from the black market, like sodium bicarbonate from District 3, salt from District 12, or a culinary Class 2 enhancement ingredient like cinnamon that could have come from a place such as District 11. I don't even want to know what she had to do to get her hands on that. Then we'll grab some stale bread. I'm using leftover French bread that's been sitting out for a day or two, and at this point it's too old to eat, just like how Tigris used old bread from Fabricia's party. We'll cut the bread into evenly sized cubes and add them to the liquid. Let the bread soak in the mixture for at least 10 to 15 minutes to really absorb as much of the flavors as possible. We want the bread to be super soft in order to make its texture smooth like custard. Once everything is nice and soaked, we can transfer the breading to a baking dish and level off the top. Finally, we'll pop the whole thing into the oven and bake until golden brown. The pudding should have a little jiggle in the center, but be lightly crisped on top. To make sure that the bread pudding sets without sinking, I turned off the oven and left the door open a crack to make sure that the bread stayed puffed up. If the bread pudding cools too quickly, it'll become super dense and chewy. I mean, it'll still taste good, but like the texture will be a little off. So turn off the oven, crack the door a bit, and let it cool in there for like 10 or 15 minutes before bringing it out to serve. The last step is to drizzle the entire pudding with warm corn syrup and let it soak all the way through. Now all that's left to do is to serve it up for breakfast. And don't forget to wrap a piece in a hanky to take to Lucy Gray before the start of the games. This bread pudding would have been simple but comforting, soft and custardy on the inside with just a hint of crispness around the edges. It's sweet from the corn syrup with a tangy bite from the buttermilk that keeps it from feeling too rich. If they had any cinnamon to spare, there would have been just a whisper of warm spice to savor. It's not fancy, but it would have been filling and familiar, just the kind of dessert meant more for survival than indulgence. And it's wild to think about how the food in the series sort of tracks the emotional arc of Panem. In Ballad, it's about scraping by, surviving on stale bread and bruised fruit while maintaining appearances, and later the luxury that the capital will indulge and binge as the story progresses. In the original trilogy, food is a sign of rebellion. Think Katniss hunting, Peeta baking bread, or eating poison berries. And by the time we get to Mockingjay, they're rationing crackers and beef broth in a concrete bunker. It seems that the fancier the food, the more fragile the world around it. And y'all, I'm pretty sure Suzanne Collins is just a food blogger who accidentally wrote a novel. Like, she wrote the entirety of the Hunger Games just to get to the recipe at the end, I swear. Hunger Games is actually the ultimate recipe blog in disguise. Our Hunger Games series will continue next week with a recipe from Sunrise on the Reaping. So be sure to leave your favorite Hunger Games foods in the comments below. I also need a suggestion for Mockingjay specifically. Even though there's not a whole lot of food scenes in that book, compared to the rest of them, I want to finish the series off with a recipe from each book, so make sure you tell me what you want to see from Mockingjay, or else this Hunger Games series will end on a cliffhanger. What fictional feast should I make next? Let me know in the comments below. If you like this recipe, don't forget to flip that sub button and ring the dinner bell so you can be notified of my latest recipes and food adventures that I post every week. Do you ever get hungry? You can find this recipe and many more with ingredient amounts and step-by-step instructions over on thestarvingchefblog.com. I hope you all enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next episode. And don't forget, snow lands on top. Wait, one last edit. I just finished the book last night, and then I watched the movie, and I've got to say that The Hunger Games is like literally probably one of the best movies out there that has the best like book to movie adaptations. They do an incredible job staying as accurate to the book as possible. Like, I felt like most of the dialogue was lifted right off the page, which is, I love that. But now I gotta know, what do you guys think happened at the end? The last couple chapters of the book really messed me up. The movie left it a little bit less ambiguous, but I gotta know, what do you think happened to Lucy Gray at the end of Ballad? And do you think that Lucy Gray ever loved Coriolanus? And do you think that Lucy Gray actually loved Coriolanus? And do you think that Lucy actually loved Coriolanus, or was she just using him? And do you think that her like weird love thing is part of the reason why Snow is such a dick to Katniss in the Hunger Games books at the end? I don't know. I would love to hear your opinions because this isn't the first time I've reread the Hunger Games in many years, and I obviously was not watching the movies along with the books. It was good, so I would love to know your opinions. Okay, thanks, bye. You're my opponent? What district are you from? Ah!